Hello, this is DJ Maker Aim 17, and I'm back with another 31 Days of Bleach. This is day 22, and we're going to be talking about favorite arc. I'm pretty sure you can guess what that is, and that, of course, is the Soul Society arc. The Soul Society arc, of course, is my favorite arc. It's the arc that really got me into the series, and personally, I think it's the best written arc in Bleach. Multiple reasons. First off, you have the base story, which is about Ichigo and company trying to save Rukia from being executed. However, later on we find out that there's more than meets the eye. We find out that apparently the execution might not be as honest as it seems. That there seems to be more sinister, something more sinister going on, and that the thing might be rigged. So this winds up causing a lot of controversy. And on top of Ichigo's own company, breaking through the Soul Society, this also creates more chaos as things goes on. First, they confront what's that dude's name? The Jimbo? No, God, no, I think of someone else. No, that might be his name. I'm not sure. Anyways, it's one of the gatekeepers. He's a giant. He has two like axe blades. Ichigo defeats him, and then after that, they basically spend some time in Rukon District. Chad gets to meet up with the kid from the parakeet that they saved earlier in the first arc against Hollow Shrieker, who used him, who basically killed him and used him to lure more people into to kill him because Shrieker, when he was a human, was a serial killer, and he killed the kid's mother. But he's in the Rukon district. He's been looking for his mother, but he can't find her. But he instead found like this adopted family for the time being that he's gonna stay with. We don't get to see Orihime's brother, unfortunately, but the rest is fine. Ichigo winds up confronting this guy named Ganju, or Ganju Shiba, and he has like a little like crew or gang or whatever, and Ichigo gets into a fight with him, so he decides to stay there so he decides to wait until he comes back. They eventually confront each other because the person that they're looking for is Kaku Shiba, who's actually his older sister, and she seems to be friends with Yoruichi. We don't really get too much into this relationship, unfortunately, because Kaku isn't shown much past his arc, and neither is Ganjo, unfortunately. Anyway, so because of the defeating the gatekeeper as well as that confrontation with Gin, who shows up afterwards to attack Ichigo and company to make sure they don't get past the gate, they have to sneak in through the using Uncle Kaku's cannon to launch them into the membrane of the Serite because the Serite has like 72 barriers and they have to break through it. But they use these like Ryasu balls. Well, first before they can do that, they have to get the proper training to learn how to use it, and that's through proper Ryasu control. Ichigo obviously he has the hardest time because he's not really good at controlling his Ryasu. The rest of them they do fairly well. Uryu he does probably the most well because he knows how to control it and all that because he's a Quincy. Orihime does pretty good. Chaz, his is okay. His is a little unstable. Ganjo, he seems a bit rusty, but he does well. Ganjo goes with them to help guide them, and then when they break through the barrier, they all get split up. So it's Ichigo and Ganju, Chad. No, it's Ichigo and Ganju, Uryu and Orihime, Chad's by himself, and then Yoruichi's by herself. And mind you, this is at a time when she was just a cat. This before she revealed herself. And then you have the confrontation. So you have the fights in this arc. All right, so the major fights are Ichigo versus Ikaku, Ichigo versus Renji, Ichigo versus Kenpachi's Rocky, Ichigo versus Byakuya Kuchiki, Uryu versus Mayuri, Ganju versus Yumichika, Let me see. All right, let me count that again. So Ichigo versus Ikaku. Yeah, Ichigo has like 4 fights in this arc now. I think now that I realize it. Yeah, so actually 5 because he fought the giant. That's 7. Yeah, Uryu in order he made, but really just Uryu versus Jumbo's brother. That's what his name was, Jumbo. What? Oh, what? Oh, I was thinking of Final Fantasy with you, Jimbo. Wait, is that what that guy's name is? I'm thinking of that summon where you have to he's basically like a discount Knights of the Round, but he's like a samurai or whatever, and he has a dog. No, actually more like a discount Gilgamesh, really. He has a samurai and he has a dog, but but you have to pay him to do stuff. He was in Final Fantasy X. I'm not sure if he's in any other Final Fantasy games. I hated using him because I'm a cheapskate, and I'm very cheap and I'm very stingy with my money. So, and unfortunately, you had to pay up a lot for him to do like the good attacks. So I didn't even bother personally. But anyway, moving on. So those were like I think most of the major fights. Oh yeah, you had Yoruichi versus Soifone and Chad versus Sunsui. And I guess there was also like Yamamoto versus Sunsui Mukatake versus Yamamoto, but that wasn't really much of a fight. That was just them kind of just holding off. Oh yes, Toshiro versus Gin. That was a good fight. Yeah, a lot of good fights. Mind you, a lot of these fights were a lot more grounded. They weren't like over the top as like the later, as they are in like in the later arcs. Also because of that there isn't that much use of Kido. And even with the Zanbakuto stuff, it's not as crazy because a lot of Zanbakutos is more simpler in this arc. Even like the Bankais that get revealed aren't too crazy. Because there's like I think 3 Bankais that get revealed. Yeah, Mayuri's is the first one to get revealed. No, there's 4. Mayuri's Bankai is the first one to get revealed. Then then it's Tozen's. Then it's Komora's, and then no, actually that's still wrong. It's 5 Bankais. No, 6. There's 6 Bankais, I think. All right, so let me go in the order. It was I think the first one is Mayuri's. Then the second one is Renji's. Then the third one was Byakuya's. Then the fourth one is Tozen's, and the fifth one is Komora's, and the final one is Ichigo's. Because Ichigo and Renji, they go through Bankai training. They do like a 3-day method to G Bankai. This is after Ichigo's fight with Kenpachi. Oh yeah. By the way, as crap was going on, there were 2 captains meetings. First one, Kenpachi runs off and just does whatever because he does what he does, and this also we get to see like the dynamic between the captains and the vice captains and how Kenpachi and Shiro don't have good direction, and they spend like almost half the arc chasing around until they find Ichigo. Then the second captain's meeting, they're allowed to carry their swords. I think that's around the time they're allowed to do that. And then after the second captain's meeting, Aizen is supposedly killed. Before that, he has like this confrontation with Gin where he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna get away with this." And Toshiro, since that he suspects him, though, he keeps his eye on him, and Toshiro even warns Momo to keep an eye on Squad 3 because it seems like they're scheming, they're planning on doing something. So afterwards, when Aizen's supposed to be dead, Momo just decides to attack Gin, and what's interesting here is that Kira he winds up getting involved and he winds up stopping her. And they look like they're about to fight, but then Toshiro stops them both and then has them both arrested. Renji gets arrested for going to confront Ichigo without permission and losing. So all 3 of them get thrown in prison. Eventually, all 3 of them break out somehow. That's when Renji goes to find. And they all go different directions. Renji goes to find Ichigo so he can do his Bankai training because he's very close to Jin Bankai. Momo goes to confront Hisugai after Rangiku gives her a letter from Aizen that he wrote before he died, and Kira, I think Gin breaks Kira out, and then they kind of just do whatever. And then that's when Hitogaya versus Gin happens. And it was a pretty high fight because it's a battle between two, not just two captains, but two prodigies. And Dean also mentions that apparently Jishiro's like the descendant of this of like an angel or something, or some angelic fighter or warrior. We never really get too much into this, unfortunately. But so you have that, and also the execution date between Rukia's execution keeps getting pushed closer. Eventually, they come close to running out of time. Of course, they do eventually save the day, but before that, Rukia seems she's worried about Ichigo and them getting killed, and then she also has to dream about Kaien, and then we find out about why she. I guess why she is the way she is right now, and we find out about all her guilt about the Kaien situation and how she was forced to kill him after he got possessed by a hollow or by the hollow Stacia, who wound up killing his wife or fiance, whatever she wanted him, and he wanted to get revenge on her, and then he wanted to avenge her, and then he got possessed, and then Ruki was forced to kill him, and she holds that guilt, and we find out, and this is actually one of the smaller plot twists I think a lot of people forget, because Ganju talks about how he hates Soul Reapers because of what they did, because of what because they killed his brother, and then we find out that it was Rukia that was the one that did it, and it was like, oh crap, and it just creates this conflict. They also run into a Soul Reaper by the name of Hanato, who at the time was the 17th of Squad 4, and he first they take him as a hostage to to get the soldiers to back off of them. But what happens eventually is that they actually wind up working together. There's also some foreshadowing with Ichigo's Hollow Match when the kids pop it back up after the Renji fight, and it helps, and then it helps them heal and kind of buffers the attacks. Sorry about that. The thing cut off. I guess that means I probably should start wrapping this up. So Chet has his fight with Century. He he loses, but it wasn't a bad fight. It was a squash fight, but it was actually a pretty decently done one. Because Chad, even though Chad loses, he Century does make a remark like, "Oh, if I got hit, if I had got hit by that thing, I would have actually taken some real damage." And then he has him arrested. Uyu gets caught after his battle with Mayuri. He defeats Mayuri and forces him to retreat. He destroys his Bankai. He probably has one of the best moves in the entire arc with his Listen Steel. And mind you, Mayuri's Bankai is the first Bankai we see, and he destroys it. And he wrecks Mayuri with 2 arrows. But then he's caught by Tozen, who uses his Shikai to basically knock him out. Don't know the full capabilities of what that move is capable of. It's kind of hard to say if it automatically does so, or because Udi was already like out of it by that point. And then after that, they all in prison. Kapachi breaks them out, and that's when Kapachi eventually has his confrontation with Komor and Tozen. So it's a 2-on-1 battle. First he battles Tozen, and he battles him in his Bankai. His Bankai loses all senses. Well, majority of the senses except for the sense of touch, which makes sense. Kapachi eventually figures it out and then acts accordingly, and then he defeats Tozen. After that, he goes and fights Komora, but the battle's off screen. It's assumed that Kapachi won. So you have that. Then you also have Hikaku and Michiko, who also wind up confronting Hizaki and Tenshinzamo in battles. Hikaku winds up confronting Tenshinzamo in the battle, and Yumachika winds up confronting Hizaki in the battle. Yumachika beats Hizaki. Ikako and Iba, I think they just have a draw. And the funny thing is, by the time we get to the execution, there wasn't the only captains that were there was Byakuya, Unohana. It was Byakuya, Unohana, and Soifone and Yamamoto. Because all the other captains, because remember at the time Kabachi was battling Koamura and Tozen, Gin was doing shady crap. Sunsui and Ukitake were actually planning on a way to stop the bird, the phoenix, which was made from a million Zamatos, mind you, the Sokyoku. And of course, when they summon Ichigo finally shows up and saves the day. But before that, Gin actually kind of like, I guess, mind read Rukia because he was like, oh, I'm gonna save you. And he said, really? But what do you have to gain from this? And he's like, oh, if you really thought I was gonna do that, I'm not. Then he broke her basically. He trolled her like hardcore. He also asked Yamamoto to spare them. Whether or not he was actually gonna do that is debatable. Then Ichigo comes and stops the bird, and then Ukitake and Shinji show up to disable it. So with basically Ichigo, Shinji, and Ukitake stop the Phoenix. And then Renji shows up after being healed by Unohana after his battle with Byakuya. And then Ichigo throws Rukia to Byakuya. He runs off. And Ichigo tells him to keep running. And then Ichigo and Byakuya wind up fighting. That's when Yoruichi and Soifun wind up fighting because she was going to kill Kioni, who... Actually, why did she try to do that now I think about it? I don't remember why that happened. Oh, yeah, before that, Ichigo fought the three vice captains. This is also Chojiro Sakakiba's most known moment where Ichigo uppercuts him. Yeah, so he one shot Chojiro Sakakiba with an uppercut. He rams himself into Omada's Shikai. He breaks it and he just kind of just knocks out Isane. He didn't knock her out that badly. Unohana takes Asane away as well as the other ones that got injured with Zamato, and they fly off. And then they go to where Toshiro and Rangiku were heading, which was Central 46, because they want answers. So both parties are going there. Ichigo and Byakuya are in that battle. Soifun and Yoruichi are battling each other now, and they have their confrontation. And Soifun's envious about what happened with the Yoruichi thing, and she's like, "Why?" And she's like, "Why didn't you take me with you? Why can't I surpass you?" And before that, she has one of the most epic moments, Yoruichi, where when she stops Soifun's Kido, she's like counter magic. She's not ready to use this. I'm like, yes, that was a pretty good fight actually. So eventually Ichigo and Byakuya they clash and Ichigo he sort of wins. It's kind of weird because in this arc he has like two battles where they kind of end with somewhat of like draw slash stalemates with both of the captains that he fought. But what's also interesting is Byakuya in this arc. He's not like a total evil guy. Like throughout the arc you actually get to see his even in the beginning of the arc, Gita and Kapachi go to see how Byakuya is doing about it, and throughout the arc, you really get to see that he's actually not doing so well. Like even though he seems very stern about his decision, you can see he's actually conflicted about it. Like if this is really what he should do, and Ichigo and Byakuya, they discuss that. They also discuss just changing the law and because he's like, why would you, he said, would you really let your sister die because of the law? He said, if that's the case, then I would fight the law. It was a really good moment for both their characters. And this is also when they get a true understanding of themselves. I really like this too because this is also a time where the fights really did give development for the characters, like Kampachi's battle. We got to see like after the end of his battle, Kampachi's whole thing was like, oh, I fight alone. I don't need anybody. I'm But at the end of the fight, he's just like, "Oh, I." He actually wants to learn. Now he actually wants to learn the name of his Zamato, so he won't be fighting alone anymore. It's actually small moments like that. That's what's actually really what made this arc so good. As well as Again, the fights were really good. There was a lot of interesting plot threads that was happening, and a lot of it all came together. And of course, probably the best moment of the entire arc, the the plot twist in the end, the big reveal. And if this actually is actually, actually if they do have a favorite moment thing, this is going to be in my. I think I already did favorite moment one, but yeah, Aizen's reveal as the main villain. This was great. This was done. This is actually one of the best reveals I've seen, and this was just like the icing on the cake of all the stuff that was happening with this arc. That was just fantastic. The only problem I would say is maybe I guess Chad Orihime not getting enough to do, especially Orihime. She was kind of just there. But besides that, the arc was great. Just fantastic. Like I'd say it's like an 8, 9, 10 easy. Like it's that level. Like maybe not 10, but like 9. So yeah, I kind of did like a recap of the arc, but there's a lot of good things that's happened in this arc. There's a lot of there's a lot of character development, characterization. There's a lot of lore, the story, the elements. There's even some world building going on. There's just a lot of interesting things that's going on, and going into why this is also my favorite arc because it's because of all those things, and as well as even the small moments. Unfortunately, you will get this with a lot of the later arcs in Bleach. Unfortunately. Well, actually, with any of them, really. The closest we got to something like this was like Turn Back the Pendulum and I guess the beginning of the Valuable War arc. But aside from that, like, it sounds like the entirety of the arc, you know. Because Turn Back the Pendulum was part of a much bigger arc, which is the Araka Saga. And it's not the Blow arc, while it started off well, it went down horribly. It's sad because honestly, Bleach was never as good as it was in this arc, unfortunately. So I guess that's all I have to say about it. I had a lot to say about this arc actually, probably more than I thought I was going to say. But it's a great arc, and it's an arc I definitely recommend for sure. Like I would actually recommend the series just for this arc. To be honest, I even said like if you're going to get into Bleach, I just watch like the first 63 episodes, and after that, if you want to continue on, you can do it on your own discretion. But definitely. My second favorite arc would be the first arc because I think it is the second best arc in my personal opinion. No, it's the second best arc because it had character introspection, it had characterization. You had a lot of again, you had those small moments where you got to see a lot of characters shine. I thought I did this arc too. There was also good build up to the Soul Society arc as well. And another thing that this arc has that other arcs don't have necessarily, I guess you could say, is foreshadowing. And you know, actually, the other arcs they do have foreshadowing. They also have setup and build up. But the other thing too is that the first two arcs have that the other ones don't. Especially the Soul Society arc is actually payoff. The payoff is especially at its highest during the Soul Society arc. So there's that. I also felt like this is also where Ichiro's character kind of came full circle. Because his character is never as good as it was after this arc. Actually, none of the main cast is as good as they are in this after this arc, honestly. Unfortunately. So yeah, Raycon subscribe. Soul Society arc, favorite arc, second favorite arc, as I said, Substance King arc. But Soul Society arc is definitely number one. Favorite arc, best written arc of Bleach. Other good parts, you know, Turn Back the Pendulum, beginning of the Valuable arc, and the beginning of the Araka saga with the Dividers and the Dividers and stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lengthy video, and we'll be back for day